everybody, welcome back to another Yoga with Carrie. As usual, I have not planned this video. I just brought my camera to the gym and I was like, I want to do some handstands, so I might as well bring you guys along, and I'm going to just talk through the warm-ups that I usually do before I go into it, the drills, and then finally some tips on handstands. Probably I'm not a professional at all, I can barely hold handstands, but I'm working towards it, and I am just going to share my top tips that have helped me, so I hope they help you. Yeah, that's all. We're going to start in tabletop. You always have to warm up the wrists first. Actually, we'll start in just what I'm doing now, seated or kneeling, and just shake out the hands, bring some warmth, especially if you haven't done anything today already. If you go straight into handstands, it might not hurt, but after a while and after a few years of doing that, it's definitely going to injure your wrists and you'll feel it later in life. So make sure that you just take this time just to warm up, please. Flicking your fingers, bringing some warmth into all your fingers. Grabbing hold, clasping your hands, and just making figure eights with your wrists. So the most important thing with handstands, I think, is finding a stable base as well as engaging the core. So I always say it in my classes, go the other way. I always say it in my classes that we have to engage the core, and I've had so many people say, what the heck does that even mean? So essentially what it means is that you're trying to suck your navel to your spine. You can keep warming up your wrists while I explain that. So what I mean is that, so I just went on holiday, so just bear with me while I have this food baby. So what it means is that you're trying to suck your navel to your spine. So feel like you are getting tickled. Maybe that's a good idea. So a good way of explaining. So try and just tense all your muscles and try and draw that navel to the spine so you're sucking it in essentially. And it's how so when you suck it in, that means that your core is engaging. So you want that engagement the whole time you're going through life, because that's going to protect your lower back. It's going to get you into those handstands. It's going to bring balance to all those other yoga postures that we're trying to get into. So focus on that the whole time. Good? Good, great. I'm going to bring it up a lot throughout this video. Coming into tabletop and just rocking back and forth on your hands. When you come forward, feeling the weight on your fingertips, and spread that weight evenly through all. Push your palms into the ground and slowly bring a little bit more weight on your wrists, but not all. You're really trying to draw those fingertips to the palm. Nice, then turn your hands, your fingertips are facing towards your knees, and again we're just going to rock back and forth. Stretching out that back of your wrist. Try not to draw your palms off the ground, it's just a slight movement. Nice. Coming out of that again, facing your hands in front, you can shake that out if you want to. And the one move that I would suggest for anybody at any time is this pose here. I always do it before my handstands. This is going to really strengthen your forearms. That's really important in handstands. So what we're going to do is usually our shoulders are going to be in line with our wrist, but this time I want you to bring your shoulders over your wrist. So yeah, you get what I'm trying to say. And all you're going to do is peel off your palm. squeezing your fingertips into the ground, keep pushing forward, shoulders over wrists, and then feel like you're squeezing a tennis ball underneath your palm, pushing the palm back down onto the ground. Then change to the other side, shoulders over wrists, peel off your palm, and then slowly squash that ball underneath you. Keeping on going at an even pace with both wrists. Maybe 5 on each side. So we're up to 2. Keep going, squishing that ball. That's the really important movement here. It means that you're fully engaged and they're fully aware of how your wrist is feeling and how your forearms are going to get engaged. Most of the time when I make these videos, I'm totally talking utter rubbish, so just bear with me. We've got 1 more on each side. Squishing that ball. Nice. You can turn your wrists over and we're stretching that front part, the back part, front part, back part of your forearms. Nice. Shake out, bring your hands, your fingertips to your shoulders, and we're just going to rotate the shoulders. This is going to bring warmth to the shoulders. How many times can I say shoulders in one time? Make sure you swap directions. As well as the wrist. Shoulders are a big thing that we have to warm up because most of our weight is on it, obviously. Notice the core. Are you still sucking in? Even in these kneeling positions, you can be practicing. Shake out, move around. Coming into dolphin pose. I love this pose because I usually always do another inversion before handstands. Obviously handstands is quite advanced, so I do a couple of headstands, a couple of forearm stands, and then I'll go into my handstand. That means that I'm getting my balance. If I go straight into a handstand, then that balance is just definitely not there. My mindset is not there, so we're going to come into that dolphin pose first, forearm stand, and then we'll go into handstands and how to get into it. So firstly, bringing your elbows in line with your shoulders, spreading your fingertips wide. Again, this is where that stable base is needed. Making sure that the elbows are squeezing together and are still in line with those shoulders. Tucking the toes, lifting your hips, and walking your feet a little bit closer towards your hands. Lifting your hips up high and keep looking down. Keep looking forward in between your elbows or your hands. This is really important. This is where your eye gaze is going to be in all inversions, at least to start off with. You can rock back and forth. This is going to bring some strength into the shoulders. Nice and slow, moving with purpose. Keep looking forward. Maybe you'll start to feel a little burn in your shoulders, which is totally fine. This is what we want. Bringing strength where we need it. Keep pushing your hands into the floor. One more, back and forth. Nice, coming to the knees, stretching it out. You can do that as many times as you want. I think that's really important to get those elbows nice and the shoulders nice and strong. So I would do that 3 times every day maybe like 15 back and forth, have a rest, 15, 15, and I promise you that will really help your handstands. If you want to go into a forearm stand, we can do so, if you know how to. It's really good to practice like this because you're getting that stable base and you're trying to kick up. So drawing that, whatever leg is less dominant, into your chest, bending your opposite and trying to push up. It may take a couple of times. I always find it easier to bring one leg down, one leg extended. It keeps me balanced. And all you're trying to do here is draw your shoulders away from your ears. So you don't want to be collapsing. Try and engage your core. We're not wanting to banana back, but really sucking it in. And what I was doing there is I was practicing trying to draw my shoulders to my ears and then pushing them away. This is where that strength is going to come in, especially when we get into the handstand. So you can do a few more of those, get your balance. I haven't even tried a handstand today, so I don't know how this is going to go, but we'll go for it. So what I like to do is get the stable base first, spreading your fingertips wide, tucking your toes and just coming into downward facing dog first. There's lots of different ways you can get into a handstand. The only one I wouldn't recommend how to get into is just kicking up. Without any sort of, what would be the word, any sort of control. That means you're going to go that way, and slowly as you get better, you don't want to have that habit because it's really hard to get out of the habit of just kicking up. So what I like to try and do is kick up with both legs. So I bend my knees and I try and feel like I'm floating to the front of the mat first. Maybe we can try a few of those. Again, can you tell I do not plan my classes? This is just how my thought processes go. So we're going to try and float to in between our hands. So bending your knees, keep looking forward, sucking in your core and springing up into the hands. This is how I practiced with my handstands. I firstly tried to just practice my float to the front of the mat. Anytime you're going through a vinyasa, I think that's where you'll be doing it most. So whenever you're in a class, always just practice that, and slowly you'll be able to get into that, the rhythm of it, the feeling of it, and then maybe you'll get to the handstand. Again, don't know what I'm talking about, but I think you'll get me. So we'll do a couple more of those floats, bending the knees, keep looking forward, floating to the front of the mat. Maybe you can get up a little bit higher, trying to draw the hips in line with the hands, and then coming back down. Nice and controlled, trying to feel all your fingertips on the ground. Once you feel like you've done that enough, this is when I like to double kick my legs up. So bending my knees, looking forward, and I'm going to try and stay up in the handstand. So you just have to keep trying. Again, I said I'm not a professional. I like to slowly extend out my legs. What I think the most important there is trying to keep your eye gaze down. And it's, again, if you watch my other videos, I think it's really important to try and start and stop the hands. If you feel like you're falling backwards, then try and squeeze in your hands, and this is going to bring you back to balance. If you feel like you're going down, you try and push your heel of your palm into the ground, and then you'll come back to balance. Try and draw your shoulder blades away from each other. Try and suck in the core. Yeah, so that's one way of getting into it. Another way is trying to, the same thing that we did, drawing in one leg, bending the other, keep looking forward and springing up. Don't get angry at yourself if it doesn't work. Another tip, final tip, is your breathing. I think it's really important to breathe out before you spring up. I think that is the most important thing for me, is if I get my breathing, maybe that's just my OCD and it's just all in my mind, but when I breathe out, I push up, and then it's easy for me to get that inhale in when I'm up, because it's really important not to hold your breath. That's obviously not a good idea. You need to keep breathing. The important thing is every time you exhale, suck in the navel a little bit more, and yeah, engage that core. I hope these kind of helped. Sorry that I couldn't show you a handstand. I did say at the start I wasn't that good. Those are just the moves that I go into to try and be like all those Instagram people that can do handstands for ages. I'll definitely be there soon because I have faith. I have faith that you guys will too. So excited. Yep. If you guys like this video, if it helped, give me a thumbs up. Goodbye.